It's the Christmas season, a season which has morphed into one of heavy consumerism, often with dire consequences. So how do we approach this period with savvy? I asked my guest, Phoebe Buchanan of Scotiabank. Your wealth follows.
Your Wealth is brought to you by
Advantage General, the name you should know. We're not in the car business, but if you drive, you ought to know our name. We're not in the construction business, but if you own a home, you ought to know about us. We're definitely not in the medical field, but if you've been in an accident, you'll be glad that we're on your team. We are Jamaica's leading motor, home and contents insurer. Advantage General, the name you should know.
I'm with Phoebe Buchanan, the branch manager of the Scotia Financial Centre along Constant Spring Road in Kingston. And today we're going to be talking about a very interesting and relevant topic at this time, at this Christmas time, when we all tend to spend more than we earn. And that topic, of course, is budgeting. Phoebe, thank you very much for talking with us.
Thanks for having me.
How important is it to budget at this time, and what exactly is budgeting?
Owen, it's very, very critical that people work with a budget. In these tough economic times, you have to plan ahead. At this Christmas time that's coming, we tend to have a little more money. Some persons find themselves with a little more money. Some companies offer bonuses, etc. And people just generally feel that it's time to spend a little bit more. You're in the mood, there are presents to buy, you want to fix up your home, all of those things. But it's important that even at Christmas time that we work with a budget. What I would suggest, instead of you have your normal monthly budget that you're going to look at in terms of all your expenses, write them down. Write down the things in terms of your average electricity bill, all your utilities. If your company doesn't provide even lunch, you need to budget even that into your bill, because sometimes you're spending little extras and you really don't realize where the money is going. So my take on it is, for a month, write down all the things that you have spent on, and that will give you a good idea of how you're spending your money.
And some of these things may be unnecessary.
It will be, but you don't realize it, especially if you have cash on you. So that's another thing I would suggest, that you don't walk with a lot of cash. So if you have credit cards, for example, you have one with a certain limit, a lower limit, and that is the one you walk with. So in other words, you can't overspend on that.
The Yuletide season is a season for gift giving, and very often persons go overboard, again, spending on gifts for families and friends. From your perspective, what would you recommend as practical, long-lasting gifts?
All right, I think gift giving is important. It makes you feel good. It makes the person who's getting a gift feel good as well. But in terms of some things that you can give to even children, give them a gift certificate for Scotiabank or a financial institution, and that they will come in, open a junior account. And what you're giving that person is a start in terms of how important it is for them to start saving. What you can also do is speak with them in terms of all the money that they're getting. If they're getting a little allowance or anything, start saving. Let them get a passbook so they can see the money growing. If you have more than one children in the household, you'll be surprised how important they start competing to see how much money they have. So rather than spending every cent they get, because children love to spend too, you're giving them a habit for life. What you're doing is not just giving them one gift at Christmas, you're giving them a gift for life.
So essentially you're saying promote a culture of frugality from the child stage.
The importance
of saving,
yes.
Frugality and budgeting from
exactly.
that age.
When they want something, the parents can say, you can work towards it by saving for it. rather than mommy, may I have? And I think in this age, we have grown up in a era where we get a whole lot more than maybe our parents got when they were our age. So we take a lot for granted. And when you're an adult, it doesn't always come easy. So if you have this inculcated in you from early, then that's really an important thing, I think.
Phoebe, give us some smart money handling tips.
I would say the first thing is, as I said, putting away some for a rainy day. Because some things are going to come up that you just really don't plan for. The plumbing goes bad, something, unexpected happens. You can't really get that. And borrowing, although borrowing is good, you might not be able to get it immediately. But in terms of tips, I would say buy smart, shop smart, shop in sales. Check around for places where you can get the best value for your money. Some of us are shopping in certain regular supermarkets that are a little more expensive than the other. And we haven't even checked out the pricing. We just go there because it's convenient, it's on the way home, maybe it's adequate parking, But in the long run, what is it doing to your pocket? So little things like that. There are certain times, certain things are in season. You buy what is in season and not the expensive things when they're out of season. Clothing, impulsive shopping. You just don't carry the cash or a high credit card and buy things just because, if you don't really have the money. Some people have it, but some people really are doing that and they really don't have the funds right now. So shop smartly. Don't just buy on a sale because it is on sale, but because it is necessary. And plan. I think that most of us, if we were to write down a real budget, would realize how much money we really are spending that we didn't know we had, or that could be going somewhere else. So my thing is, the first thing, get your budgeting in order.
Now, how do you promote a culture of budgeting and understanding money in the home, particularly among children? And what are the benefits for the home and also the country on a whole?
Well, I think saving for the children, beginning to learn to save now, is really very important, because just look at Jamaica. We tend to be spending more than we're earning as a country. Now, I think if we had a culture growing up that way, everybody would not look at it that way. Because if we're doing it in our households, we're doing it in small businesses as well. We're spending the money thinking that is rather than making sure that we're not spending more than we're earning. A lot of businesses are operating on overdrafts, and so because they're spending more than they're earning. So it's really a culture. If we change the culture, would really benefit the country that we live in.
Personally and also the country.
Exactly.
An interesting discussion there on budgeting. I hope everyone has learned something from it, something practical. How, for example, we may culturize our children into understanding money, and how this will benefit not only the home, but the country as well.
Your Wealth is brought to you by